Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon, and you're watching the M.O.N.Comics Big 5 Live, a monthly show where I scour the YouTubes and find 4 other creators and bring them onto the show to show some books they got. They could be 5 of their favorite books from their collection. They could be recent pickups or a combination of both. They're just there to get that comic conversation going. And sometimes I get to have a team up on this show where I bring in not one content creator, but a whole squad that makes up one channel. And this channel I have on here tonight, if you're not following, subscribed, watching, interacting with the comic book canon, then that's on you. Because they are hilarious. They know their stuff about comics, prolific knowledge, and they put on a weekly show. And I found out some secrets about them tonight and how they do their shows. And it was no surprise to hear what I heard. But go check out their shows and you'll see what I mean, because the way they're produced, the way they are edited, and the way they're presented each week, every Sunday, for people to do this is a true work of passion. So without further ado, let me bring these guys on the stage. I've had 2 of them on before. One is brand new, and I still owe him $12.51 from Terrificon. So this is kind of like, I'll get it to you, but I got Josh, Joe, and Jeff, the Triple J threat. We're missing the Honorable Dan De La Torre tonight. He's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We'll have him at another time. But guys, welcome to my station.
2 things. First off, thank you for having us. We truly appreciate being on, kind of a lower tier channel. Obviously, we're like here. What? I do want to clarify, it's $12.47, not 51. So take it what you will for that. But it's an honor being here to help your channel out.
Thanks. I needed this. I needed some confidence building, and that's why I reached out to you guys. Or actually, you guys were kind enough to let me try to co-host your show, which just went right into the dumps last December. To be fair, that was my 3rd stream of the weekend. I was coming off 3 streams. I was pretty toast. But I said, hey, you guys come be the first guests on my M.O.N.Comics Big 5 Live. I just passed my 2nd year on YouTube, which is insane how fast that went. Yeah, Jeff just found my channel 2 days ago, so it's probably surprising to him.
Brian, I am always honored and privileged to act.
Brandon.
Oh, Brandon. It's always an honor and privilege to have a close friend like yourself support you and honor you by being on the show. So Brian, I think it's great.
Yeah, and I've always thought it's really important, for channels like ours with millions and millions of viewers every Sunday, 8 p.m. live on YouTube, to help out, smaller, more insignificant channels. So, M.O.N.Comics is one that I felt really, really needed the boost, the extra work, because quite honestly, you do have some good stuff going on here. But you need
haircut, very nice haircut.
Thank you. It was expensive. I really appreciate this, and what I need my chat to understand, and I think Jeff can break down the best. How did the comic book canon come to be? Like, what was the fruition of it to the evolution of where we got to today? Because I know we used to be different people, right?
Yeah, it did actually, and I mean, obviously everybody who's watching right now knows, but I'll just say it just to appease you. Basically, during the pandemic, I'm a producer director myself. That is my profession. And during the pandemic, I had to learn kind of all the new tools that we would be using for work. And StreamYard is one. And I'm not the technical guy. I'm the creative person who knows how, when, and what to create. And then have people kind of sit in a control room and do it. So I wanted to learn it myself and create a show that, about something that I'm passionate about. I love music, love sports, but I've also loved comic books almost my whole life. So I created Comic Book Canon with Chris, aka J&S Comics. We started in May of 2000, I think. So this is going to be 5 years here.
2020.
That's what I said.
You said 2000.
Well, but you knew what I meant.
25 years.
Look, Jeff's old. He's been in the basement of his mom's house for 47 years. Give the man a break.
Listen, here's the deal. Can I finish the story without being corrected? So anyways, yeah, 2020, May of 2020, and we're hitting up 5 years, and it's been a blast, honestly. Like, the community's awesome. Everybody's awesome. We just love hanging out on Sunday night, talking shop, talking comics. We have a variety of different segments because we see it like a variety show. So Chris had to take some time off, and then the wonderful Joe, aka 360Comics, came on board as the Canon co-host, and he's actually become co-CEO of the Canon. He runs HR and the marketing department as well. We decided we needed a news editor, right? So we hired Josh. He is our news editor, where Joe is also the editor-in-chief as well at this point. And then we needed a judge because fresh from the comic shop, you got to keep yourself honest. So the Honorable Dan De La Torre, a.k.a. the judge, came along as well. And I think that all formed – I mean, Joe, you came on well before last year, but I think the four of us kind of gelled last year, I would say.
Yeah, I think that, you know, once I got over just how freaking obnoxious Jeff is, we really had a great partnership as far as being able to come up with content. It's just, I just need a break. So, like, you know, Sunday night, the show ends. I put Do Not Disturb on my phone specifically from calls and texts from Jeff. And then I turn that back on usually around Friday afternoon so we can have a day or two to get the show ready. And I just, you know, I keep my distance from him. And yeah, we make it work. You know, I started off as a viewer of the show, and, you know, fresh from the comic shop was the segment that really made me be like, oh, this is cool. They have audience members submit books every week just by posting them on Instagram and using a hashtag. And this is a really cool idea to get people involved and have some, you know, break down this like barrier that we have when we have these YouTube shows where there's a screen, and rather than just talking at people or, you know, even conversing with the chat, we're having content being created essentially by the audience, which I thought that was such a cool idea. And instantly I knew I wanted to, you know, be part of it as far as an audience member. And then I got to be on as a guest, and then eventually as a co-host / CEO / content developer / news editor-in-chief / HR department / marketing department.
Hey, you got to read that email. It's actually kind of urgent because there was a law that was broken in regards to the HR situation.
Yeah, the fresh from the comic shop segment, definitely, like, when I started watching you guys, that drew me in, and it really was genius way to get the interaction with your chat, other than, you know, being able to read what they're saying. Not a good email, Joe?
I need to sit down.
Yeah. I think we can handle it. We probably have an hour or two, so.
Okay. Whew. All right.
Well, let me just say hi to the chat. The folks who were nice enough to stop by tonight. Renegade Rants Comics. This is Jason. He's another great YouTuber up in Watertown, New York. So if it's bad where I am, it's 20% worse where he is. So I feel bad for him. Big Nasty Comics. Always appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by again. You were here last night. Oh, Angry Otter Reacts. What's going on, dude? We're doing all right, brother. Thank you for stopping by. Mike Davis, another local person to me, tattoo artist up in Utica, New York. What's up, Mike? How you doing, buddy? Doug Botkins, a comic collector coach. We have like almost all YouTubers in here. This is great. I love it. So what's up, Doug? Steve Driscoll, Comics with Stevie D. A very knowledgeable person within the community. If you want to know about comics, watch his videos. Pre-code thing, what's going on, dude? How are you? Josh's Comics is hanging in the chat. Alan Carr, all the way from Australia. How are we traveling? We're all right. We got football tomorrow. I know two guys below me are pretty pumped about the day.
Go Birds.
And I think it's going to go their way for him, to be honest. Sal's Comic Book Corner. Sal, part of the Comics Codex Station. What's going on, dude? I hope you are well, my friend. Chris Parker, another relative local. Chris and I are going to a comic book show up in Syracuse in February. We're finally going to get to meet up after a year of talking online. Matt in Clemson, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing well. If you could go sub up Comic Book Canon, I'd be doing even better because these guys.
That's very sweet, Brian. We appreciate that.
No problem, Jeff. My name's Jeff. All right, hey guys, we got the Comics Codex Station in the house as I talk. Wonderful guys. Jussi from Finland. What is going on? Yeah. We have an international show here. You guys probably didn't know that. We kind of go international, but here is one of the persons. I love that he now tags me in his pictures because Jordan Ori does some of the absolute most amazing
he's great
shots that you will see. Him and Dr. Plagueis. Like, when you guys told me to like submit books, I went and looked at like what other people are putting in. I'm like, you guys are nuts. These guys are like professionals and amazing, but it's fun. The Comic Book Canon crew. I might have a future in this business. You're absolutely right. JSS, what's going on, dude? Happy Saturday night to you, man. Joe.
It's really gross, actually.
How's the yogurt?
Well, you see, this episode of Moncomics is brought to you by Siggy's Icelandic Skyrim
stuff. I can't believe
15 grams of protein, only 140 calories, an array of flavors, including this one, my favorite, cinnamon vanilla. Siggy's. It's the best yogurt from Iceland. Well, listen, if I'm going to spend time here on your show, I need to get paid.
Yeah.
You're not paying me. I know you don't have it in the budget.
Brian.
You're not paying us, Brendan.
We did ask up front, and we said, fine. Joe and I talked, and Josh was like, we got to do it. We got to do it for the people. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Speaking of the people.
For this little 15-second ad. So,
yeah, you know what? However you guys got to make money, I'm just happy to have you here. I have a question for you guys. I love trivia. I love trivia questions, and I'm going to also, this is going to be kind of my way to interact with the chat tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I'm hoping one of the three will give you, I'm going to go right around. I'm going to start with Josh, I'll go Joe, and I'll Jeff. And I want the answer to this question. If someone gets it right, we'll move on to the next step. And that is the next step of the chat telling me the best quote I'm thinking of from that movie. And if you guys are able to help and get this movie right away and move on to the chat round, I'm going to give away some books tonight to the chat. Because I can't pay the Comic Book Cannon's chat for showing up either. So I thought this would, maybe one of them could win this, and it would make them come back to my channel if I have to bribe them. So, guys, I'm going to start with Josh, but the question is, what is the best movie Val Kilmer has ever been in? Starred in. Josh.
My heart is going to say Heat, but I think it's Batman Forever.
I'm sorry, Josh.
Oh, here we go. Somebody's taking something from our playbook, by the way.
No, I just have to figure out how to eliminate people because I'm not that smart to remember. You guys would try to joke around and screw me over. So, Joe.
I'm answering the same question. Josh, I'm going to be honest. Josh named the only two Val Kilmer movies that I know.
I got one. I'm going to save the canon as usual.
Yeah, usual.
And I guarantee you Brian is thinking the same thing here.
Let me bring Josh right to the stage.
And you're saying he stars in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can't be a supporting character. Is that correct?
He's the star in it. He's really the star of it. Another character is focused on, but he's the star in it.
Okay. It's Real Genius. You got to get a better camera. That's one thing I would, in terms of giving you any sort of advice. Oh, Real Genius. There we go. I told you I'd save the canon.
Jeff just saved the canon. It is Real Genius. I am an 80s kid. I am heavy in nostalgia. It is a wonderful movie, and Val Kilmer, okay, so the canon has moved the chat onto this next phase. So
you're welcome, everybody. Let's go.
Starting now, I need the best quote from that movie.
Oh, come on.
The best quote from that movie. Well, Josh, you guys aren't in this. Is for your fans, for your adoring fans. It's going to be the best quote from that movie. And I'm going to watch throughout the show. I don't expect people to get it right away. First one, when I see it, I'll highlight it, and we will announce you the winner.
So the chat has to say.
The chat's doing it.
Oh, hell yeah, let's do it.
The chat's doing it. We're going to give this away to the chat. So the chat will win. Someone from the chat is going to win a Blood Hunt #1 from Free Comic Book Day. Awesome series. Great horror, me. A Little Weird Science #1. It's a reprint, but it is Wally-Wood goodness. I know Joe loves the pre-code stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to throw that in. We've got X-Men #14, just because I think it's a great Apocalypse cover in a color you don't see that often. Just love that 90s goodness. I've got some Peach Momoko #1, Demon Wars Down in Flames.
Ooh. Okay.
I think she's a wonderful artist. You love her, you hate her.
Yeah.
JSS Brooklyn just won. I'm going to give it to him. It's not verbatim quote, but Forbidden Worlds. The best quote in that movie is, "Can you hammer a 9-inch spike through a board with your penis?" And he says, not right now. And she says, girls got to have her standards. So JSS Brooklyn, you got that. I wasn't going to make someone do verbatim. Sal with a close runner-up of, so JSS will highlight you. Can a 2x4 with your penis? Yeah, exactly. Sal, also, you ever had that dream you wear Egyptian sun-glad clothing and people are throwing tiny pickles at your feet? I mean, it's probably one of the most quotable 80s movies. And it's just wonderful. So I would like to congratulate the Comic Book Cannon crew on at least Jeff for saving that, everyone.
Well, it's a collective here. We are the Cannon crew.
Now, I got to ask.
All the weight, but anyways.
Josh, have you seen it?
I have not, but I'm going to recommend another Val Kilmer movie that I think you need to watch. It's called
At this point, we would kick Josh off if we were on the Cannon, but it's your show.
Kick Jeff off, okay? Listen, everybody, all 21 to 31 million viewers tune in every week to see this guy, to get the news and the rumors.
Anyways.
Jeff's old news. Just saying. I'm just putting it out there. He's like, if you ever seen Ghost in Darkness, I'm Val, and he's Michael Douglas. He ends up getting eaten by the lions eventually. I save the day. I go home to the wife, the kid.
That is a good movie. I've seen it, but it's nowhere near as quotable as Real Genius. Joe, what were you going to say? Have you seen it?
No. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I can't even hang out with you guys in real life again. If we see each other at another con, I'm just going to be able to hang out with Jeff, and I'm going to end up owing him money.
Yeah, $12.47. Just want to remind you the number.
Well, good job anyway, Jeff. And congratulations to JSS Brooklyn. He knew the quote. He didn't type it verbatim, but I wasn't going to make him. So I'll hit you up on Instagram and get that. But let's get to the real meat of the show. This is a show where I ask people to come on and show books they love so that people maybe who are in my chat that don't know about these guys get a taste for what they like to collect. I know because I follow them. I watch them every week. But I want to see what these guys bring. So you know what, Josh? You're always picked upon, so we're gonna put Josh in here to go first. Josh, what did you bring to show us?
Do all five, or we're gonna alternate and show?
We're gonna do all five, buddy.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with something that I think a lot of people will enjoy. I just picked this up last weekend. This is Harley Quinn 30th anniversary Bruce Timm variant cover. And I do not know this question. Some of you guys might, but I want to see if Bruce Timm still does signings or possibly conventions and maybe get like maybe get Ivy and Batgirl in the background, possibly Catwoman as well. We'll see about that. I don't know. Another book I picked up at the Philly Comic-Con is a really great book that I just think is worth it in my opinion, and this is Action Comics issue number 285.
Yeah.
Now, this is the first time that Supergirl is introduced to the world. I think this is her 5th or 6th appearance, but up until then, she's pretty much in the fortress training. You know, Superman's keeping her out of eye view. So, yeah, I need to pick that up, especially with Supergirl coming in. This book I picked up from a good man named Threesixtycomics. Seems to be a decent seller. I mean, price is a little over, but you know. So this is Batman Gotham Adventures, issue number 3, first full appearance of Grey Ghost in comics, and a great action cover or action figure cover, man. Like,
Josh, what draws you to Batman, dude? Why do you collect Batman?
So, I was born in 1994, and then I'd say probably like in 1999, if I remember correctly, my brother, who was about 8 years older than me, him and my mom picked me up at a daycare center after school one day, and it was a Friday, and he's like, "Hey, you know, you have to check out this movie called Batman." And I'm a little kid at the time. I don't know, you know, I know what a bat is, I know what a man is, but I don't know what a Batman is. And long story short, they were playing the Michael Keaton version of Batman on TNT or CBS or something like that back in the 90s. And watched that movie, and that's my first superhero love. I got hooked on it, and ever since then, you know, Batman's been my main guy. And I like the idea that, you know, you don't need superpowers. You can be anybody, any four of us right now could go dress up and.
No, I don't have the Canon money. I don't have the Canon money. You guys could do that with what you have. But...
Look, you don't need money. All you gotta do is put a hoodie on, grab a baseball bat, serve out some justice. Okay, Batman does it all the time. All right,
Josh knows
yeah,
it's my experience. Yeah, for sure.
that was my introduction to comics, and then grew up watching
Breaking news tonight at 11. Local Delaware man arrested for bludgeoning another man with a baseball bat.
Well, now here's the thing. I would probably go in Wilmington and try jumping off rooftops, and then you would hear breaking news: man jumps off rooftop, lands in some woman's house. While she's watching news or something. So yeah.
Can I interject here? This story changes every time somebody asks Josh why Batman, by the way. The last time we heard, he's like, I've always seen myself as a typical Bruce Wayne. Therefore, Bruce Wayne, is he Batman or is he Bruce Wayne? I need to find out for myself. So that's exactly what that was last time. This time it's something a little bit more sentimental because maybe he sees your family man, Brian. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Last time he talked to me about it, he said it was the tight-fitting spandex and the pectoral muscles. That's what he said got him going. So
I mean, Jeff, you're not the only one with a good backside on selling books. I'll tell you what, you get me some spandex, man.
Josh is talking about my backside.
Anyway, moving on. This next book I picked up at the local Philly Comic-Con over the weekend, and this is such a great variant of Elektra Black, White, and Blood.
Oh, that's sick.
Wow.
So this is a 1 in 25, and Bill Sinkinski. Sinkinski. If I'm saying that right. Sienkiewicz, yeah.
That's it.
So he did the original solo series of Elektra, which back then the art wasn't in my opinion, it was kind of a bit off. But yeah, this cover is very hot into my liking. Today blue on gray is Batman.
Wait, are we showing all 5 now? Or
Yep. We're just letting everyone have their moment in the sun.
Jeff, you don't know how the show works? You haven't spent enough time paying attention to watching it?
I'm cool. Let's keep
Jeff's
going.
the bad guy. Everyone. Jeff's a bad guy. He doesn't
I'm
want the show enough.
Right.
He definitely is. Look at him. He's an Eagles fan. Moving on. I got this book also at the Philly Comic-Con. No wonder. This is Iron Giant preview. The first ever Iron Giant in comics.
Is that a nostalgia buy for you? Did you like it as a kid?
I man. So like I said, born in 1994. I grew up watching this.
Jesus, I'm old.
Look, I'm about to be 31, man. Calm down, okay? I'm
showing your 90s
pretty old here, but I couldn't tell you how many times I rewatched this on VHS and rewinding the tape and everything. And it's not an actual comic. It's like a 4-page, 5-page preview by Warner Brothers just to market the film. But the sellers, I believe it's Comic Universe.
Hey, what's up?
Are you on mute?
Yeah, I muted it. It's fine. They can't hear us.
Listen, how much longer is this show gonna go for?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's dragging here. These guys, this Brendan is a little boring. He seemed
painful. I could have been on Comic Tom tonight.
Do you want? Yeah, I know. Sticky Goose asked me to be on the show, and I told him I couldn't be. Do you want me to tell Brendan that my internet's not working? He's gonna hop off.
I don't know. I mean, I feel bad. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah. All right, fine. Let's go back.
Is his name Brendan or Brian?
Josh, do you know that I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and they're actually speaking of football tomorrow. I actually have more Super Bowls than the Eagles have ever won.
Let's go back.
That was a fun fact. I thought that was a fun fact.
Fun fact, you know that the Eagles almost choke every time they get in a playoff game or even a Super Bowl game.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Time out. Play cool.
So look, I'm just gonna talk over these two guys. So yeah, this is a preview of Iron Giant, and Comic Universe had it for 120, and they kept trying to get me to buy it. Hey
guys, I'm back. Sorry.
Got it for $80. I think it's a great deal. Somebody is selling a 9.8 of this for over $4,000 on eBay, so I got a pretty good deal. Yeah.
Damn.
Although I don't think it's actually worth $4,000, but.
Josh, I missed everything you just said about that book. Can you just say it all again for me?
Yeah, okay. So here we go. So over the weekend, I went to the local.
I'm good. It's cool.
I keep thinking.
Okay.
I keep thinking we're in control of the show. We can kick them off. We can't. This isn't our show.
Yeah. I know. I literally have gone actually moved the mouse over to kick Josh off multiple times and realized I don't have that power on the show.
No, I don't know.
Was that 5, Josh?
Yeah. Pretty sure that was 5. Yeah. I mean, I got more. You want me to go over 5? I got you, man.
No, I'm gonna bring Joe on now. I didn't want to go after Joe because I know what kind of books Joe has. He really surprised me last time he was on. Joe, last time you were on, I remember the one book I remember was a Amazing Spider-Man Ditko file copy.
Yeah, personal collection of Steve Ditko. Still have that. Actually, I rewatched the video that I did with you about a year ago because I didn't want to bring any of the same books on. So yeah, it was that. It was actually one book each from the golden, silver, bronze, copper, and modern.
That's right. You took us your time. Yeah.
Yeah. But I have a new set of stuff today.
I'm excited, dude. I'm excited because I knew you weren't going to bring the same stuff.
All right, we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna start a little slow. We're gonna start with. I usually don't collect like comics that are from other IPs. Like if I collect comics, it's because it originally started as a comic, even if it does have a video game or a movie or something like that, you know. But this one I needed. I felt like I needed this because this is just one of my absolute favorite shows ever. Dexter, written by Jeff Lindsay, who was the writer of the book, Deadly Dreaming Dexter, which is the show is based off of. And there have been a bunch of reboots at this, not reboots, but spin-offs and stuff, sequels at this point, and even a prequel show. Love it. I love it. Like I said, I don't keep much like IP stuff in my personal collection, but this was an absolute must. Love the show. My
wife and I love the show, and every year, she'll rewatch it. She'll just binge through every season. And I'll be like usually in here doing YouTube stuff, and I'll come out and she'll be watching. I'm like, Trinity? She's like, yep, Trinity. I'm like, nice, good series. Like,
I firmly believe that season 4, which is the Trinity season with John Lithgow, is the best season of television ever.
I couldn't agree more. John Lithgow really just,
Now, like, people always argue, well, what about Breaking Bad? Breaking Bad from start to finish is a better show than Dexter. But that one season blows my mind. So good.
Well, you boys are in luck because the Trinity Killer is getting his own prequel show.
I heard.
Really?
Yep.
Yes.
I did not know that. My wife.
That's the man with the news, everybody. By the way, what's up, Danny and Tessa? How's it going? Just want to say hello.
Bless up. Second, we're going to go from a modern book all the way back to the Golden Age. This was a super sick pickup this year. Did not expect to have this book in my personal collection this, 2024 last year. My friend who I've known for 15 years was like, hey, my dad found his old comics.
I love the story. Yeah.
It's a great story. It's so good. My dad found his old comics. Do you want them? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll come take a look and, make him an offer. And he said, they're not DC comics. They're something like EC. And I was like, that's the main thing I collect. EC, pre-code horror, specifically the EC runs. Unfortunately for me, the big one was in there. Stories 22.
Jeez. That's the first time that this book has made an appearance on this show.
Really? Nice.
Yep. It's really fun to see the iconic pieces of history. And so thanks for scratching. I should make a list of the top 10 books that have been showed. What do you estimate that at grading out at?
I think it's probably about a 4. It looks really nice, but you can kind of see on the E, there is a little staining up in the corner here. I don't grade my personal collection books very often just because I'm moving through so much inventory that, I need to constantly send in books to get graded to sell.
Right.
But that's a keeper in my personal collection. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. I ended up giving my friend's dad a lot more money than he thought the books were worth, and still getting an amazing deal.
Rlcomics, love it.
That's
fun.
Yeah. How many? That's that integrity. It's from City Slickers, where that curly that one thing. It's integrity, man. And how many books were in that collection?
It was, I think it was a little over 60 EC books, most of which were the horror stuff: crime suspense stories, shock suspense stories, Haunt of Fear, Vault of Horror, and Tales from the Crypt. There was a bunch of Two-Fisted Tales and stuff as well, and the sci-fi stuff, weird science fantasy and things like that. But I think about 40 or so of the books were pre-code horror, and I it just amplified my collection so nicely. Like it was all stuff that I collected already. So some were upgrades, some I already had, and I just sold off the lower grade copies. And a lot of filling in the gaps.
And so you put those into some collectors' hands out there in the world too, which is cool. That collection came to light. You were fair with that guy. You took care of him. You were honest. You got some books. The world got some books. That's a huge win for the golden age comic book world. I mean, that just doesn't.
Sure.
I think we'll start to see more of these collections popping up too as we go, as that generation dies off or moves on for the comics. I think we'll start to see that. But it's rare to find that many. Thank you for Crime Suspense 22. That was sick.
Crazy. I'll do the art piece next as the middle piece. And you were there at Terrificon when I purchased this. This was kind of an instant buy. I dabble in original art. I don't buy a ton of it. It's very expensive for the most part. But Chris Capana, who's doing art for a couple Marvel runs, does covers for some Dynamite books and stuff like that as well. He's worked on in the past couple years Red Goblin, Ghost Rider, and more recently Daredevil. I bought 2 pages from him, which I need to back this up a little bit so we can see this so nicely.
I got this in person, folks.
Yeah. This is it's actually a double page. I'm going to show you the other side of it. Daredevil's looking for a missing child, and this is him kind of at the beginning of the night. The moon is up. He's looking over the city. He's trying to figure out where to go next to look for this kid, and he searches all night and does not find this kid. And the very next page is a kind of retrospective image of Daredevil, distraught, like completely unable to comprehend that he searched all night. He didn't find him. The sun's coming up in this. I wish I had the comic on hand so I could show it colorized, but it's beautiful. It's actually at the centerfold of the book. So you open up to the exact middle of the book, and it's this on one side and then this on the other, showing that dichotomy. And I saw it and I said, Chris, how much do you want for both? He said a price, and I said, all right, what's your Venmo? And,
yeah, you came running up to me like a kid in a candy store. Like that's when I first met you guys officially. We were all around. I think Buzz Comics booth.
Yeah,
Jeff was dollar bin diving. Well, Alicia stared on like my wife does when I dollar bin dive. Josh was there, and you came up and you had. You also had what was the drowning cover? God, it was a pre-code horror. The guy laying in the water drowning.
Oh, the float face down cover.
Yeah. Like a 4.0. You're just gotten those 2 things. And the OA, though, you're like, got to keep this quiet, though, man. No one can know I have this yet.
Yeah.
And he pulled it out. And I was like,
there's a little hush.
That's awesome. But, like, I got to keep it quiet down. I'm like, okay, dude. Like, all right, I got you. No, it was awesome. Thank you for sharing that, too, Jesus. Colossus Collector just starting to get into original art. So good luck, dude. Have fun with that.
All right, so that was 3. 4, we'll go with a book that I got at. You know what? Let's actually. I brought a couple extra things, so I'm gonna ditch on the book, and I'm gonna go with another piece of original art since people like that one. This I actually just picked up. My buddy Mike, aka Pope of Chillytown. If you're not following him on Instagram, do it. Me and him do combined shipping, so if you ever get something from both of us, you only pay shipping once. He has a friend who has been into the original art game since the 1980s. We're talking, close to 40 years of buying original comic art, sketches, things like that. And he's actually selling off a bit of his collection. And I was able to pick this up. And he already did one live show with Pope of Chillytown. And he's doing another one coming up, I believe, in February. This was the piece that I was like, I need to have that. And this is V from V for Vendetta.
Oh, yeah, God. This
original artwork by David Lloyd, co-creator. He was the artist on the V for Vendetta run with Alan Moore writing. We've got a full body V sketch signed by David Lloyd, dated January 8th of 1986, which was before I was born. But I'm very, very happy to have that. And that is also a piece that is definitely going to get framed. V for Vendetta.
You say he doesn't always do full pieces too, right? Like full body piece when you show.
Yeah,
I think you showed that in the canon, and I saw it the first time.
Yeah, I heard that he doesn't do full body V's anymore. He just does face. with the the Guy Fawkes mask and the hat and everything, but he doesn't do full body images sketches anymore. I don't know why, maybe time constraints and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter. It could be a face, it could be whatever. It's the artist doing the original sketch, and that's.
I remember when I was in college, I took a course called Comic Books as Literature, and one of the assigned readings was V for Vendetta, and it was like 3 years before the movie came out. I fell in love with it, and the book has more in it that the movie doesn't have, some different parts that I love. So that really, a piece like that is just huge.
Yo, that college course sounds amazing,
dude. It was the best. So Concrete was one of the books. Hellboy, The Killing Joke, V for Vendetta. Yeah, this professor was, of course, I got an A+. It was the If I could relive my life and do something, become a teacher, I would teach like that as a literature course, because he really he made people realize that comic books are absolutely American literature and they're wonderful.
Yeah, I've got a friend who he's done some writing in comics. He was on Canon. His name is Drew Maxey. He's done some comic writing as well as some writing for DC's video games. And he's a teacher. It's his day job, and he teaches. I know Watchmen. He does like a big focus on Watchmen. He's a big Alan Moore guy. But V for Vendetta, not only is it one of my favorites, but I consider the movie V for Vendetta to be the best comic book movie ever. And that's coming from someone, you know me, I'm a huge Crow fan, but V for Vendetta, that takes the cake for me.
I won't debate you on that. I mean, I have my own personal choice, but I think it's nostalgia ties to it a lot of the time, you know.
Sure.
But I mean, they knocked it out of the park, right? And did you bring one last book to show us?
One last book. It was my big book of the year. I have a kind of a policy with myself that at the end of every year, I got to get myself something, my Christmas present, my bonus or whatever. And the stars aligned for this book. It was a situation where a buddy of mine was ready to get rid of it. And it's not a book you find very often. And it's not a book that is it's very easily accessible. And it just worked out that everything kind of fell into place at the same time. And I was able to pick this up. The best Batman book of the 1950s.
Oh,
Detective Comics 168, Origin of the Joker, first appearance of the Joker as the Red Hood, iconic cover, legendary storyline, probably the most notable Joker story, possibly other than Killing Joke, which Killing Joke directly references this story. Solid 2.5 grade, complete everything you want in a blue label comic book. But yeah, this was my big 2025 pickup.
It looks great for a 2.5 too,
Yeah, the cover's detached, and you can see there's a
I'll take that every day in a slab.
Right. No, that's listen, I'm not
taking a deal.
I'm not reading it. So yeah, 2.5 presents great. Love these old, BB gun ads on the back and stuff.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
And just one of the most important comics, in history, given that Joker is, in my opinion, the #1 comic villain.
That was wow. Smoke if you got him, chat. That was pretty incredible. That's why I put Joe there, and I'm gonna have Jeff go next, and I'll go last. Because I'm really interested, Jeff. I've seen what you present on the Canon when you're doing Fresh from the Comic Shop, but I want to see if you diverge from that tonight. I can see your wall a little bit. But I'm really interested to see what Jeff brings to the table tonight. This is all about you, Jeff. You got the spotlight.
I bring a lot to the table. My mother says I'm a good person. I'm handsome, and I'm a likable person. So I have a lot of stuff. I couldn't get the Detective 27 out of the vault. The bank closed a little bit early, so we'll just have to deal with what we got right here. I'm just gonna pull. I really don't have any sort of an agenda. But there's some books that mean a lot to me here. I'm going to go with this first. This is Incredible Hulk 388. Now, you may be wondering, it's not a key. It's not anything like that. But this is the first comic book that had a major impact on me in terms of what a story can do. And this is back in the early 90s. I was a kid reading this thing, and it was like one of the friends of the Hulk had AIDS. And Rick Jones and the Hulk went to visit this. I can't remember this villain's name. The Slasher or something like that, or the Speed Freak. he got in the mix, and the guy that had AIDS, or he was HIV positive, let's say that. He didn't have it. But, you know, this guy, Speed Freak, cut him up, and Rick Jones's hands were all bleeding. And he's like, I can't, what am I going to do? And it, like, for me, it was the first book that really hit me hard. I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. Peter David wrote it, Dale Keown with the art, but the Hulk was like, I can do this. I'm not going to be infected. And he saves him. And they ended up having a story probably 30 issues later where the character died from AIDS.
Time out. Can you tell us what that wonderful product that your book is in?
Oh, the wonderful product. You mean this is a Crafty Comics case right here. And actually, they are our sponsor for Fresh from the Comic Shop. And you can win one of these wonderful cases if you just submit to Fresh from the Comic Shop, and maybe your book will move on. But anyways, this book right here, it meant a lot in terms of like having an impact on me as a reader and a collector. And it just, it's an important book to me. That's why I have it on the wall.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing real quick is, for those of you who don't know, Peter David, you know, probably the most well-known Incredible Hulk writer, really revolutionized the character, and this is just one of the examples of his storylines and arcs and things like that. He is not doing well health-wise, and he does not get a lot of residual money from his time at Marvel. As we know, these companies unfortunately do not pay their artists, you know, any sort of long-term royalties or anything. If you can find his, if you just Google Peter David GoFundMe, you can help donate to cover his medical costs. I know he's having some issues, so if that's something you'd be interested in doing, definitely do it.
Didn't someone just put out a video on that?
There have been a bunch.
It's been a while. I think he had a stroke a couple of years ago, and yeah.
That's sad, but
it is sad. Joe. And there's I think there is a GoFundMe, but yeah, I should definitely look into that because he's had an impact on me when I was reading his stuff back in the day. Next up, I got to give props to Joseph because this combines my two favorite things right here. Yes, in another crafty case. Spider-Man is by far my favorite character. By far. I felt like Peter Parker as a kid. I understood the pain. I was the smallest kid in high school. I got my ass kicked almost every day. Yeah. Granted, I was like barely 5 foot, but I grew up to 6 foot by my senior year. So, but yes, but my love for Tribe Called Quest as well. And this match.
Oh yeah.
This hip hop variant right here for Amazing Spider-Man #1. Homage to Tribe Called Quest in their third album. So I love this. Joseph,
that's a gorgeous book. Joe got that for you?
What's that?
Joe found that for you?
He knew my love for both, and he gave it to me. So very appreciative of that. That hangs on my wall for sure. I have, what else do I got? This one right here. As you know, I've worked with many celebrities, including Stan Lee a couple times. That's no bullshit. And I did a segment with him on the story arc for Amazing Spider-Man number 96 to 99, where the United States the government came to him and said, we want to do a story arc on how drugs are bad. And Stanley's like, yeah, sure. So they write the arc. They try and put it to the approval of the Comics Code. The Comics Code said, no way. So this right here was the first comic book to be released in decades without the Comics Code Authority stamp. And, you know, everybody woke up the next day like, oh, we're going to be okay. But this is Amazing Spider-Man number 96 in an EGS case, in a crafty case as well. Signed by Stan Lee. I had him sign it because I did this little short documentary with him, and I thought I was going to have that in the actual piece, but it just didn't work. But I got my book signed, so served that purpose for me.
Now that issue once they saw that the Comics Code Authority didn't go ape crazy on them, isn't after that when Green Lantern, Green Arrow 85, the Speedy Drug issue, DC saw how successful that was, and that came out after that, right?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know the timeline with that. I know exactly the issue you're talking about, and that's a very good question. I never even thought about that. Mm-hmm. But we should look into that. That's a good point.
It is. That Stan Lee doing that started the relaxation of the Comics Code Authority, which led to the boom in Bronze Age horror.
Yes, what's the year on that book?
71.
Yes, exactly. That's when it started. 72, 73, we started getting the great Bronze Age horror back.
Yep.
This opened doors up, Stan Lee, and I'm not sure who was the one that decided to go with the story, because Stan Lee wrote it. I don't think he was the one that made the final decision. I'm not sure, but
that's
glad
an incredible
they did.
piece. That's an incredible piece.
Yeah. So that's number 3. I want to say one for last here. This is cool. This is crazy. Again, I love this crafty case, by the way. I'm not sure.
So they make them for slab books too, huh?
For magazine size slabs.
Ooh.
So this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 4. And I owe a lot right here, because this is, I got the first appearance of Sam Alexander, a variant Steve McNiven cover. And the guy's like, I threw you a little extra in the package as well. And it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 4.
In a 9.4.
And then I sent it off and
right.
Getting rid of this. So I may as well slab this thing, and it got a 9.4. I was like, dude, I'll pay you money for this. He's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm like, so I owe a major A-OK to somebody, and I'm not sure who that somebody will be, but yeah.
That is an incredible book. I love that cover. Love the green on that
cover. It's great. And then this right here, most of you Canon people that watch our show know about this book right here. My daughter, at the age of 6, wrote and drew her first comic book. This is Sally Soap Hands and Lion Girl Mystery of Captain Cold Hands right there. And yeah, it's in an EGS case. Picture of my daughter. And yeah, so.
That's dude, that's really, I hope to get a gift like that someday I have 2 daughters. And when they're born, actually, I have a Superwoman and a Wonder Woman blank cover comics, and I had them put their footprints on the comic.
Oh wow!
Awesome.
I've got them framed for when my girls were born.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, so that really hit home. I love Jeff bringing that fresh from the comic shop. Heart tugging stories with all his books. That's how you win Moncomics Big 5 Live, guys. That's the
Oh, it was a competition?
No, but you win anyways. We'll just say you win.
We're all big winners.
All right, I brought some books to show tonight. These are all actually recent pickups, with the exception of one. So yeah, I always usually do recent pickups because I've shown a lot of my books throughout the past 2 years. So it gets hard after a while. But Daredevil, issue number 34. Little Beetle appearance in there. I always like the look of the Beetle. I don't know why.
Underrated character.
Yeah, underrated character. Got this from Danielle over at Nerdy Girls Comics. Say what you will about influencers, but when she had a stream, this was like $7 plus a couple for shipping. So perfect. I thought, for not being able to drive to my closest LCS, 45 minutes away, spend gas, lunch, and to pick up, if I found this book cheaper, it would be the same. So I'm always looking for deals anywhere I can find them. So not going for the whole Daredevil run, but I see him cheap. I'm going to pick him up because he is one of my favorite. He's my favorite street level character. I got the next 2 books in a trade with my boy Bruce from Up North Comics. DC horror is awesome. I've really gained an appreciation of that over the past couple of years. So House of Mystery 223. He knows I love like the swamp or water monsters. I just think that's a really great. I've always thought this was a great cover. I've seen it before, and he offered it up as a trade. So I'm not sure the cover artist on this one. I'll have to look that up. Boy, I really dropped the ball on that.
See it again. Let me see the cover. That's a cool cover.
Yeah,
I like it.
The girl has an idea, but the kid doesn't. And then we're gonna go a little further back in time. I also got this from Bruce. This was I traded him Amigo Joker that he originally traded to me, and I traded it back to. We just kind of trade stuff back and forth to keep it fun. House of Secrets, real early, number 14. I always wanted like a flying saucer cover, from this era. And it's in low condition, but I thought the trade dress looked great on it, and love sci-fi horror stuff from back in the day. So thanks for Bruce to get this to me.
It's another cool cover.
Yeah, I can't get enough of the horror sci-fi. This one is going to speak to Joe. I got this. I can't believe I got this on. I was in a Whatnot stream, and the guy I always like it when they have buy it nows with offers. And he had this for $150, estimated at a 4.0. And I was like, well, I'll shoot my shot. And I offered him $110. He said sold. He was there to move books. And I've loved this cover for so long because it's so freaking creepy and weird. Adventures into the Unknown, issue 34 from American Comics Group, 1952. Pre-code horror. What the hell is going on in this cover? I mean, it's got the native guy drumming. It's got this weird snake creature with a skull and the totem. And yeah, so really good condition. I could, pre-code has come down a lot too, as far as like, if you're not going for the monster books, I think the monster books are always going to hold their value pretty well, the more iconic ones. But if you just are a fan of this quirky pre-code horror, you can really get them pretty affordable nowadays, so I couldn't pass that up. I thought Joe would be a fan of that one.
That's awesome.
I'm loving what Renegade Rants Comics is saying. That looks like my ex. I'm wondering if that's before you guys started dating or after.
After, yeah, that's a great question.
So
Adventures into Unknown. I can't stop with the pre-code horror. And the last book is an homage to the comic book canon and the wonderful stuff they do over at their channel. Despite me trying to pick on them all night, they are great guys. I won this from my Fresh from the Comic Shop. I found out about these guys and their channel. I started watching the show, and I couldn't believe it.
Mind you, that was your first submission ever, right? That was the first time you ever submitted.
First time I ever submitted. So
great
anyone in the
submission,
chat,
too.
Thank you, Jeff. Anyone in the chat that's like on the fence of like, oh, I don't know, these guys are like, like I said, Dr. Plagueis, Nori Jordan, Spud Comics. There's some great people putting in stuff every week. And I know I'm missing some names, and I apologize, but go out and take a picture and just have fun with it. I was like, this is such a great way to like reconnect with your books and like do some amateur photography. So I put the book in. I went up that week. I got enough votes, and I won this awesome Amazing Spider-Man number 25, graded at 9.8, white pages by EGS, who I really do love their cases. I love their design, and I'm a Scotty Young fan. So like when I won this, I was like, that is freaking awesome. And I did nothing but take a picture. And thank you, Jeff. That was that was my submission.
Make this
right
full
there.
screen. I mean, this is awesome right here, by the way. Definitely deserves the air horn right there.
Thank you. That's my backyard. When people ask middle of nowhere, that's literally my backyard. Like there's a swamp behind my house, and that's where Man Thing lives. So no, I won this from the guys. It was really cool. There, YouTubers out there that give back to the community and interact with these guys do. It needs to be shouted from the rooftops, because every month you're going to have a chance to win something cool. So, take your chance, guys. Take your shot. Go out and take some pictures and submit them. Put them on. I'll let you guys tell. What's the proper way to enter Fresh from the Comic Shop?
You upload your picture to Instagram. Make sure you tag us in the picture. But keep these 3 things in mind here, right? 3 things to keep in mind.
Hold on, wait, stop. You forgot to say hashtag FFTCS. That's very important.
Hashtags don't even work anymore. I don't
but we need to see it. It's important.
Hashtag FFTCS, even though it doesn't really work. But the most important thing is to tag us in the picture, not the description, because we won't find it. But keep 3 things in mind when you take this picture. Well-composed shot, like what Brian. It was really, really creative, well-composed shot, well-lit. It sticks with the theme of the book, a swamp, you got Man Thing. It was awesome. 2, it could be a unique book as well, something we may not have seen before, or not many people have heard of. 3, this goes a long way with us and our guests who get to choose. Pull at our heartstrings. What does that book mean to you? So think of those 3 pieces of criteria right there, and you may go far and Fresh from the Comic Shop, because not only do we have a monthly prize, but we have a yearly prize as well. So keep that in mind.
Yes. And how does the yearly prize work? I was wondering that.
If you win, see, you're in contention for the yearly prize, because if you win, there's 12 spots. It's unlike March Madness during the final, or the March Madness as well. So we're coming up on February. We're gonna have a bracket. Yeah. We're gonna put the bracket out and talk about all of that stuff. So
that's awesome. I'm definitely gonna be. I'm just happy to be mentioned next to the people that you guys have submitting on a regular basis, because some people really go all out, and
yes,
and that's what makes the comic book canon fun. So, guys, you started a new year. You guys really changed the look of your show. You got some new music in there. It's impressive. And again, the secret I knew that one of you had to work in some kind of production background, and it turned out it was Jeff. I asked Joe and Josh backstage. I'm like, before Jeff got on, I'm like, who works in production? And they're like, oh, Jeff, and I'm like, no one told me that. I guessed it, because guys, you have to go watch the show every week and see what these guys are putting into the show every week. because it really is an act of passion. Because even if one of them falters and says, I don't really want to feel like doing it this week, and that can happen, it doesn't turn out the way that they make it turn out every week. So, guys, what's coming up on the comic book canon that everyone should know about?
This week we have Dan from Crafty Comics, actually. Unfortunately, he was going to be our first guest of the year, and we were going to have the big announcement that Crafty will be sponsoring Fresh from the Comic Shop. It was EGS and Spider Do the previous few years, but they're going to still be part of the canon, but not on a monthly basis. So Dan from Crafty Comics will be joining us. He was affected by the wildfires. That's why he had to miss the past 2 weeks. But luckily, everything's okay. I think he had to evacuate, and he came back. But he'll be on tomorrow night talking Crafty Comics. Our usual segments. Did you know? Fresh from the Comic Shop, obviously. What else do we? I don't know. Am I missing anything?
News.
Ask Joe, all that good stuff.
Well, people need to go check it out. So everyone in the chat, what you need to do is open up another tab in your browser or on your phone and go sub up Comic Book Canon. When is your show, guys? When does it go off?
Every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We do have some news that we have not shared with anybody just yet. That is, no matter what happens in the NFL tomorrow, we will not be live on Super Bowl Sunday.
I think that's a very fair
Nobody's going to watch. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, well, it depends. It could be a good halftime show.
Kendrick Lamar, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. But,
yeah. All right. No, that's fair enough. I'm wishing, if anyone didn't know, Joe and Jeff are Eagles fans. I'm wishing them the best of luck tomorrow. I'm a Steelers fan, but I will always root for the people that go on further because their teams are doing better and they're worth it. And I think we're going to have a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl. I think both your teams have the momentum to do it, and it would be a great – boy, the media gets their hands on that, after the Bills and their 90s run to the Super Bowl and what the Eagles have done. Like, I think it would be a killer Super Bowl. No one wants to see the Chiefs in it anymore. Commanders, I just don't think they can compete with the momentum that the Eagles have right now. And I watched, you guys won me some money last week, and watching, like I said, backstage, watching Saquon say, give me the effing ball, I got this. And then going 50, 60 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I was like, good luck, everyone. It
happens almost every game, which is like, as an Eagles fan, we've never really had that back since Shady, maybe, right? But even Shady was never like this. LaShawn McCoy, never. Yeah. But it was interesting too. I do want to say, I know we're getting off topic, not many comic books, so hopefully y'all are sports fans. But the night we had Brian on as a guest on the canon, all right, fine, I'll call you Brandon. All right. It was Eagles Steelers, and Brandon is a Steelers fan, and it was obviously the Eagles won. But that was quite interesting. Yes, that deserves the air horn. So there you go. That's pretty sweet.
I sold this from a lady in an antique shop. I was looking for comic books, and the guy had it on the chair, and I was like, how much you want for that? He's like, $5. And this lady looked at me. She's like, you going to buy it? I'm like, get away from my hat, lady. I'm not letting you buy that. She walked away sad, but whatever. You're 80. Not much longer to go, probably.
Oh, wow. Anyway.
Wow. Just kidding. Anyways, guys, I can't thank you enough for helping me start my second year on YouTube and the first guest of the Big Five Live. I've had a blast doing this show, and I started so I could do this kind of thing. And I knew when I have you guys on, it was going to be no holds barred in Moscow. And at least one of your people knew the right 80s move to choose. So I'll give you guys that. But guys,
whoa, what do you mean?
Josh, you're so young. You're so young. 94. I'm going to bring you up to speed. You guys are going to have a watch party on StreamYard, and we'll watch some movies together. And it'll be great.
Yeah,
it'll be great. It'll be great. It's going to be awesome. But no, I've met these guys in person. They're wonderful people. They know their comics. They know their news. They know their stuff. Go hang out on their channel every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for the Super Bowl. Don't show up. You won't see anyone. Guys, thanks again for coming.
I do want to say, as much shit, if we weren't giving you shit, that means we didn't like you. So
yeah, it would be very quiet. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So we love you, Brandon. We love what you do. You are a total class act. Great person to be around. Hopefully we can see some more this year. And again, have you on the canon. No, we haven't had you in 2025 because it's only been 3 weeks. But definitely have you on again in the canon.
Thanks. I'd be an honor. It's a blast to be on your show and to be a part of such a great show with millions of viewers. So guys, I hope you have a great night. Good luck to the Eagles tomorrow. I'll see you backstage. Chat, I can't thank you enough for showing up. I only thought I'd have 3 people watching my channel when I started YouTube. So I'm very grateful for the people that come and hang out and want to see some cool books and meet some cool people within the community. So go sub these guys up. Go sub up everyone on the channel. And until next weekend, keep on reading those comics and eat your yogurt.